Good evening, Harley Street at homers. How are you? Welcome to the Menopause Kitchen. And as promised this morning, beetroot is on the menu today. The reason beetroot is on the menu is I bought some this week thinking, oh, I'll roast beetroot and great goat's cheese in a salad. Never got round to it. And I thought, I'll use it tonight. We never use beetroot in the Menopause Kitchen. So I looked up a couple of recipes, always looking for a recipe that I can turn around in half an hour. We might just do it. So we've gone to the Quick Roasting Tin book, and we are doing Scandi-style meatballs with fennel, beetroot and dill. So this is going to have a sort of aniseedy flavour into this stew, essentially, which the meatballs are going to sit on. We're going to serve it with some rice, and we need to move it though, because I want to get most of this on. So first thing I've got is we have a 25-minute cooking time, so it won't probably be quite finished by the time we're done. I've got one fennel bulb. I've tailed that, and then all I'm going to do is slice it thinly. Excuse the background noise from Ruby. She has her cough is going bonkers this afternoon. She's had 2 lots of medicine, and we're hoping it will calm down. I think she knew it was Menopause Kitchen, and it was her moment to shine. So she has been hacking for about an hour now. And yep, we have just about had enough of it today. Right, there's the fennel in. I have already grated 3 bulbs of beetroot. And I was quite a smart ass and thought I won't do what Mary Berry does and put gloves on. I'm hard, but of course it has stained everything. So you might want to put gloves on. I've peeled them. I'm using the coarse grater. I hate grating vegetables like this. I cut myself not badly one time, and it really makes me a bit nervous. So I always end up doing something very wasteful, which is going to be get to about there, and I think that's enough. I'm not risking it any further. I don't mind a bit of raw beetroot, but I think I'm going to eat enough beetroot tonight that my pea and my
I was going to mention
stew will be scarlet.
Yeah, tomorrow. I thought I had cancer one time when I had beetroot the night before.
Nice one, Johnny. Yeah, not to be alarmed, ladies. That certainly can happen. Right, Johnny is on the camera this evening, and also on the wisecracks today. So heaven only knows where we're going to go. So the rest of our stew, let me just see what I'm doing. I'm adding 2 cloves of minced garlic. Now, again, you could use that little grater, but as you know, that would frighten the life out of me. Look at the state of these hands now. So to mince it, I have an even smaller little chopper. This is an Indian spice wet and dry chopper, which is brilliant for really mincing down the garlic. Some would say there's enough mincing goes on in this house anyway. You wouldn't need a little chopper, but it is really handy for getting that really fine grain. Because what we're not going to do with this is cook this on the hob. This is all going to go in the oven. So you want that really minced garlic, otherwise you would get a bit of raw garlic in there, which would be quite acrid. So the other ingredient we have is a 400 gram can of cannellini beans, and these are great. Just in water, strain them off. These are nice soft beans, not like kidney beans with quite a hard skin. So these will really be nice to eat. They're very, very soft, easy to eat. You don't get any kind of that chunkiness, chewiness to them. We are also adding into this a tablespoon. This is the only fat that's going in here. 15 grams of olive oil, or that's a cold pressed rapeseed oil, which I quite like. It's very nice. You could use either. And 200 grams of chicken, 200 mils of chicken stock, just made from one of those gel stock cubes.
Or vegetarian.
If you're vegetarian, you could of course use a vegetable stock cube. Very good point. So that all gets a little bit of a stir up, which is nice, and you'll get more liquid coming out of the veggies. I think this is going to be quite unusual. I haven't made it before, and as I say, it was one of those I want to use the beetroot up. So that is the basis of our dish. Now we need to make the meatballs. Pork. We don't cook with pork much in the Menopause kitchen, but brilliant for meatballs. I like to use often, and I've got this £3.39. Good value. I got the lean pork mince, which is brilliant, 5% fat. That's getting towards the sort of fat level you would get in chicken. So, we often think about pork as being a fatty meat, but pork is now one of our leanest meats, a really nice choice, and goes really well for meatballs. If I'm making bolognese, meatballs, anything like that, I would always use some pork and some beef mince. It really works nicely. Now, these are simple to do. So other ingredients, we have half a teaspoon of fennel seeds. So we have the fennel plant plus the fennel seeds. Once I've got all this in the oven, we'll talk through some of these ingredients a little bit more. About 15 grams or 3 teaspoons of chopped fresh dill, and then a very good heaped teaspoon of Dijon mustard. And last ingredient to bind all of this together is 1 egg. Best way, if you're going to make a bit of shell there, hello Rude. Best way to make meatballs is straight in there with your hands. I have washed them, although of course they are stained with beetroot. Now, to make these, we just do all that. That's nicely mixed everything together. And essentially now, I just want about 24. Best way there to make your meatballs, just squeeze them together and then bounce them from one hand to another. 24 of these, and these are going to go sit on top of this beetroot and fennel stew, and they will cook really quite quickly. You'll find part of the bottom of this will almost poach in that liquor of the stew, and the remainder will be grilling, because I'm going to put my oven on
Gyro flow.
Gyro flow, indeed. Gyro flow is wonderful. If you've got an electric oven, ladies, I love gyro flow. Cooks really quickly, and you get a lovely browning with it, as well as the oven itself. So it's a great dish. Now this is going to serve probably, what does she reckon this serves for? Yeah, I would say so, if you're going to have it with some rice, and I think it needs something like that, some rice to go with it. The beetroot is essentially, of course, a root vegetable, so it's a little bit starchy, but I think you want some carbs there to just mop up these juices. So we will do, of course, one of the lovely micro sachets of rice.
Not a Persian one.
Not the Persian. Oh gosh, last night, ladies, I got in massive trouble. Johnny was away, he was coming home late. I'd made a Buddha bowl. Remember we did that from the R&R retreat, and I thought, that's nice. And then I thought, I know what I'll do. I'll do some roasted vegetables, and I'll cook some halloumi and mix that all in with one of the grain packs. And I thought, then we've got two different little salads that will go quite nicely. It doesn't matter what time John gets home. And I picked up these two, and I'd used one the night before in the Buddha bowl, and that was a Mediterranean mixed grains. It's lovely. I picked up the Persian mixed grains by accident and used those with my roasted vegetables. When I saw the face on it with the first mouthful, I must admit, I thought to myself, this isn't very nice. But I just battled through it. You know how you do, but oh my goodness, no. I come home, this is the you serve up to me. It was
you thought they talked about you then, didn't they?
I heard gorgeous, and I thought, yes, it's me. No, it wasn't. It was hooligans outside. Right, now that took all of
11 minutes.
11 minutes to prep.
Is it 24?
It is now going to go in the oven. I've got my oven on 200 gyro flow, and we are going to see how far we can get that in the remaining time. Really, it wants about 25 minutes in the oven. So I think we'll just be a little bit off before we can show you what's going on. Right, now let me show you some other bits. So I mentioned there my dill, which of course came out of my little fresh herbs. I don't know if you remember last week I was using thyme. So that's from last week that was kept in my little herb container. All it is just a damp kitchen roll with water, just damp with water, into a container like this, shove it in the fridge, and the herbs keep beautifully. The one that won't is basil. That will go absolutely black and unpleasant if you put it in the fridge. So the best thing you can do though is get it out of this bag. These plastic bags are horrendous for herbs. Get it out of there and just shove it in that bowl there with my mint, and that will keep really nicely. All righty, I wanted also to show you the fennel seeds. They're not that easy to find. I tend to buy them like this from, and this is usually with like the Asian spices, because you use these quite a lot in curries, but they are really, really tasty. You don't need masses, but you'll just get a little explosion of flavour from these in those meatballs, and a little bit of crunch as well. We think about the nutrition that's going on in here. Well, you've got two vegetables that we probably don't use masses of. The fennel itself is actually a herb rather than a vegetable. You often see it growing in people's veg gardens, and it's this massive plant, and you get these kind of cow parsley flowers on the top. That's where the seeds are, and then in the bulb at the bottom is the fennel vegetable. Really lovely, finely sliced and raw in salads, or if you ever make your own coleslaw, fennel in coleslaw is delicious. It really adds a lovely flavour to it. We're cooking it today, and as you saw, all we've done is very finely sliced it. Doesn't need a lot of prep. In terms of the main antioxidants that you'll find in there, there's one that isn't that easy to find in many vegetables. It's called quercetin, and it's an antioxidant that we talk an awful lot about for people that are struggling with histamine, actually. And you'll often find people are advised to take a supplement of quercetin, but fennel is a very, very good source of quercetin. It's one of the antioxidants that we call them sort of bioflavonoids, and those are newer antioxidants that we didn't know that much around until more recently. So fennel, very good source of quercetin. And why it's so useful is that quercetin is thought to help support your nervous system. Hence one of the reasons that with histamine it can be quite useful. On the beetroot, there's another antioxidant which is really useful for helping to manage blood pressure. So often when we're talking about the dietary implications of controlling high blood pressure is of course one of the main risk factors we think about when we're considering the risk of stroke. So lowering high blood pressure, really important if that's an issue. There are several things you can do. One thing you can do is keep control of your weight. Even if you're overweight, losing 10% of your body weight will have a significant impact on lowering your blood pressure. Secondly, you can get more active. Again, just gentle things that we talk about in Back to Basics, increasing your daily steps will have a really good effect on blood pressure. So too will controlling the amount of salt in your diet. So again, reducing the amount of processed food you eat and increasing the amount that you cook from scratch. One last thing, though, that you can do is increasing your intake of a whole range of fruits and vegetables, but particularly some of the purple vegetables, which contain an antioxidant called anthocyanin, which is the one that we really link with helping to control blood pressure. Blood pressure is a funny thing. It's one of these high risk factors and that we include in a syndrome called the metabolic syndrome, where you start to see increases in cholesterol, increases in blood pressure, small increase in weight, abdominal fat accumulation. And it is probably the most serious collection of symptoms when it comes to predicting long-term health. So really getting a grip on metabolic syndrome is something that's really important. And Lucy and I are going to be doing lots of workshops around this over the autumn. That we're going to get together tomorrow to start planning some of those. But back to anthocyanins, this is one of the antioxidants that really has a good effect at lowering blood pressure. So whether you like it pickled, whether you like it roasted, more beetroot, great thing to do. If you're interested in growing your own veg as well, beetroot is almost foolproof. It's so simple to grow. You literally just sow the seeds into the ground and beetroot grows. It's really, really simple. Okay, right. Now, you'll know I have been talking about these books a lot. And the main reason I like them is this author. She was one of the MasterChef finalists. She's brought out about 5 of these. And I have to say, I've cooked a lot and they all work. The recipes are lovely. So simple. Usually not too many ingredients. They are all one-pot dishes that you can do. In fact, that's our dish for tonight. They're all really simple things that you can make. Just throwing them together, that's delicious. The sticky soy, honey roasted salmon. Really easy things to make. They don't take long to throw together. And, oh my goodness, the Carolyn prawn curry is lovely. And they are generally, yeah, it's another beetroot dish. I did look at that one, but I kind of knew that I wouldn't get away with that tonight. You would leave that, John Clough. However, back to the roasting tin books. So yeah, a really nice, that is gorgeous. The baked gnocchi with crispy hock. I don't think I've ever cooked.
Pie one.
Yes. Which one?
Pie.
Which pie?
The one that's got pastry on it.
No, we haven't.
So I said you haven't.
Oh no, I haven't done that. No, that's a nice one as well. The bar, really good. So I've never found anything in here that I haven't really enjoyed. I hope this isn't the first one tonight. So where is our recipe? Let me just find it again.
Yeah, what do you think of it?
Of course it is. There you go. Thank you. Well spotted. We need to make a little bit of a sauce to go with this. I'll be back. So this dish was inspired by the meatballs that you get in
IKEA.
Exactly, which you have loved. Now in there you get like a sweet sticky red sauce. It's a lingonberry sauce. This will be slightly different, but hence why there's been so much fennel and dill in here to give you that kind of Scandi flavour that you'll use. Dill is used an awful lot in gravlax, the Scandinavian smoked salmon. It's a herb we use right across the board. So we still have some dill left. And I was going to get sour cream to make this dish, but I suddenly thought, I don't need sour cream. I won't use it all. I don't want it. So I'm going to use Greek yogurt. That's set them all up, hasn't it? I know what it is. Foxy time. Yeah. Foxes have come for their tea. So we've got a couple of dessert spoons of Greek yogurt. And this is just going to be something that you can either stir in to the stewy part of the sauce, of the dish, or you can just dot it on at the end. The rest of that dill goes in here as well. And she won't stop till she's had her dinner, I don't expect. There we go. Now, that saved me buying a whole sort of pot of soured cream, which I haven't really used. Greek yogurt works beautifully in that. It's full fat Greek yogurt. Don't need to use low fat at all, because we really have used very little. If that was going to be 4 people, we've used 15 grams of oil in the sauce, and the meat itself contained about 20 grams of fat in total, so 35 grams, less than 10 grams of fat per serving of this dish. So I think that's pretty impressive. Right, I think I can show you how this is going to be. Now, it does still need another 10 minutes or so, but it is bubbling away. It smells very good. Those veggies do need a little bit longer to go. Now, if you wanted to mix this in to make that quite a creamy sauce, which I think would be nice, I'd be tempted to lift those meatballs off, mix it all in, and then just put them back on to serve it, which we can do, certainly. So very, very simple. You see they're browning quite nicely. What's really good as well, often with meatballs, you're going to need to pan fry them first. You don't need to do that at all. These bind together really nicely, so there's no pre-cooking. If you wanted to, if you found these were a meatball flavour that you really like, you could make them up in bulk and then just freeze them, and they would be absolutely grand. So in goes yogurty sauce. And we'll give that a good stir about. You can see you've got quite, isn't it? Beetroot makes things so pretty. If you ever are going to have things like smoked mackerel or smoked salmon, and you make a little bit of get some Greek yogurt or sour cream, some horseradish, and grate some beetroot in there. you will end up with this absolutely crimson dressing, just looking like that. Really, really, I mean, you'll never get that colour from anything else. And it is absolutely gorgeous. Right, so that will give us that creamier sauce. Meatballs back on. Just tip them in. Just tip them in. No, I think that would be rough and ready. I think we want them to look nice as they go back in, John Boy. That is the difference between you and I. I like pretty. It's going to say something unfortunate, I think. Right. Okay. Meatballs back in. Now, we are going to do some bits and pieces. We're going to feed the dogs. I'm going to go for a little run. So actually, that is going to go back in the oven 10 minutes or so before we're ready to eat, just to finish off. You could bung it in right now and it would be done. I'm going to serve that with a sachet of whole grain and basmati rice, which I think would be really nicely, whole basmati and wild rather, whole grain rice. So this is a really nicely balanced dish, lovely way to use beetroot. I'm going to post the recipe into the Facebook group so you can have a go with it, and I will let you know how we got on taste testing it later on. But I hope you like that. Nice little change, something a bit more unusual. And if you feel like having a go at it, let me know what you think when you make it yourself. Have a lovely evening, ladies. See you soon. Bye-bye.